Hey guys, it's Miss Adelini. Today I am going to be talking about the basics of ecology, and then a later video will be on ecological succession, just to get you started on your ecology notes. Right. So we define ecology as the study of the interactions between organisms and both the living and the non-living things in their environment. So living things might be other organisms, maybe predators, prey, organisms they have a mutualistic relationship with, and a non-living component might be rainfall or the presence of minerals in the soil. Okay, so we have several different levels of organization within ecology. The largest or the broadest level would be the biosphere level, and that's going to be the Earth itself, and then its immediate atmosphere that's going to support living organisms. So the birds fly up in the immediate atmosphere, but there are also certain types of bacteria that can live in clouds, which is pretty cool. Getting a little bit more specific from the biosphere level is the biome level, and those are going to be your major habitat areas. They could be terrestrial biomes or aquatic biomes. The examples that I've given here for terrestrial biome are the savanna and the tundra, but it also includes all the different forest biomes like temperate deciduous forest, the taiga or the boreal forest, which is made of mostly evergreen trees, and then the tropical rainforest. Aquatic biomes include the open ocean, but they also include estuaries and wetland ecosystems. Okay, the ecosystem level is defined as all of the living things and the non-living things in a particular place. Getting a little bit more specific, we have the community level. That's going to be all the living things only in a certain area, not the non-living things. From communities, we go down to the population, and this is not all living things, it's just a single species that's living in one place. For example, all the salmon in a stream, if I said the salmon and the brown bears that eat them and the moss that grows on the rocks, that would not be a population. It has to be just one species. And then the organism level is the last one, and that's a single living thing. Okay, so this is just a picture showing you the different levels, starting at biome, going down to biosphere, ecosystem, all the living and non-living things, community, just living things, population, a single species, and then the individual. Okay. So within the environment, we've got both biotic and abiotic factors. Remember, biotic, bio stands for something that's living, and A usually means not. So abiotic would be something that's not living. An example of biotic factors might be predators, disease caused by a living organism like a bacterium or a parasite. Right here, you see a nasty little deer tick attached to human skin, example of a parasite in that human's environment. Examples of abiotic factors that could affect a living organism might be temperature, humidity, or rainfall precipitation. Okay. A lot of times people assume that an organism's niche is going to be its habitat or where it lives. But the niche also includes anything to do with the role that an organism plays in its environment. For example, it might be the interactions that it has with other organisms. It might be the way it gets food, the resources it uses. We can define the niche in two ways. We have a fundamental niche, which is going to be the range of conditions and resources that the species could use or tolerate, whereas the realized niche is going to be what they actually do use and tolerate. So for example, could humans eat worms? Yes, we could eat worms. It would be disgusting. It would be slimy. It would not taste good. But technically, we could digest them and use them for food, so they're part of our fundamental niche. Are they part of our realized niche? I certainly hope not, because that would mean you ate worms as part of your regular diet. Gross. Okay. You have a question on your packet that asks if a species habitat is the same as its niche. Please specify that the habitat is just where it lives. So for a lizard, the habitat might be the fact that it lives in desert. But there are other parts of that lizard's niche, other conditions that it can tolerate and resources that it can use. For example, it needs to use the sun in order to regulate its body temperature. So that's a resource or a condition that it uses. Also, its strategy for catching insects, its food source, the insects are part of its niche. And also the behaviors that it has and uses to catch those insects, that's part of its niche as well. I'm going to skip that one. All right, we have two different types of organisms based on how broad or large their niche is. A generalist would be a species that has a very broad niche, meaning they can use a wide variety of resources and tolerate a lot of different conditions in the environment. For example, possums and raccoons, they'll eat just about anything. They'll go through your trash. However, they prefer to eat fruits and weirdly avocados, but they'll eat pretty much anything that's available to them. So they have a very broad niche and we consider them generalists. Specialists are going to be species that have very narrow niches. They really only use a few resources or even just one. Koalas only eat eucalyptus. Pandas only eat bamboo. I was thinking baboon. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, pandas only eat bamboo. So they would also be considered specialists. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back with a video on ecological succession, and that was your video on ecology basics. Thanks very much.